So I'm here down at a very iconic building here in Castletown, the old police station, Edmund. We are still talking about this. It seems to have gone on for a long time, but I know this is an important moment now for people to get involved and think about what they want to do with this.
Yes, I mean, it's an important building, as you say, a Baillie Scott creation. It's called the old police station. Actually, it's the new police station. The old one was behind you, right, in the grounds of the castle originally. So this is not actually a very old building. It's at the turn of the 20th century. But it is important. It's one of Baillie Scott's very imposing public works. And we have had a strategy now in Castletown of protecting the entrance to the castle. So we're standing in front of the former military library, and if you look carefully on the wall it says WD for War Department, so you can tell it's an English building that was as part of the English domination of the island in the 19th century. And we felt that this was an important challenge, really, to protect the view. And so the police station is part of that landscape, that urban landscape. And it's hugely important that it remains iconic. It's something that people have photographed, painted, drawn for over a century. What's not as important to us is that we turn it into a museum. We've got 7 buildings in Castletown already. Only 3 of them are actually open at the moment as museums. Right. And that's the position right away across the island. We're a heritage agency, not just a museum organisation. So we're looking for uses that are sustainable, that we can afford, or other people can help us afford. And I think that's going to be a real challenge because it's a very small building. Yeah,
I was going to say, it's being said before, it's not kind of going to grab lots of people's attention for mass usage.
It's got 3 rooms and 3 cells, and then there's a modern extension on the back. And if you add to that the levels inside, because it's certainly not accessible in the conventional way, it wouldn't meet the new disability discrimination legislation, for example. So the uses we can put it to actually are quite limited. So we have a duty to consult. It's in our legislation. So we're more than happy to ask the community, not just here in Castletown, but on the island, and indeed there are specialist groups off the island who may have an opinion as well.
This has gone on for some time, since originally being put on the market by the estate agents, and it's every Tynwald, I think it's always a question about who's owning it, where's it ending up. Has this gone on a bit too long, really?
I would have preferred if it had been done more quickly, but the challenge with any building like this that's been in government ownership for a very long time is that the paperwork reflects that. If you've got a domestic house, it's bought and sold fairly regularly over the years, and therefore the paperwork's in reasonably good order. It's at the land registry. Everyone knows who owns what. And what we're trying to do is work out with the neighbours the exact boundaries to these properties. And we had exactly the same issue with where we're standing now, because it was lost in the midst of time, and because it had never been sold, because it was a government building transferred from one agency to another, the paperwork wasn't accurate. And
so it's been held down in legal issues.
It's legal issues. It's making sure the maps were right, making sure the ownership was correct, and until we sorted that out, then we didn't particularly want to change hands. But it's imminent. I'm told it's going to be very soon.
All right. So after all this consultation, whatever, and people look at it, could someone be in there this year, for instance, do you think? Or is it a bit longer than that?
We've already had a pop-up use, and we're going to have it open during the Heritage Open Days in October. So I think you will be seeing use. And that's indeed one of the questions. Should it be temporary use? Should it be pop-ups? Or should we look at something permanent, long-term, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? If you said to someone it was available for 20 years, then they might invest in it and restore it and spend. It needs some money spending on it.
Sure. Well, unlike this building, which is a coffee shop, you don't think you need another one next door, for instance? I was being glib there slightly because.
No, I think, but it's a very important point that this is our building.
Yeah.
We purchased it using the reserves that the trustees have built up over the years. We bought it from government because we felt it was an important archaeological site. This is a Civil War gun emplacement that we're actually standing on.
Yeah.
We had an offer to use it as a coffee shop.
Oh, really?
And that gives us an economic rent,
Right.
which means we can repair the building, look after it, keep it in good nick.
Right.
And one of the criticisms that we're faced with in a time of declining budget is that you're not looking after things properly. Well, there's a limited amount of money to operate with, and it's worth less with inflation every year. So having an income from a commercial rent, and that's what some of our other property around the island is, it's either holiday homes or residential letting or commercial let.
So people can get more information online, presumably from your site?
Online, yes. We've got a special survey set up. It's a very convenient way of doing things. But we're going to open the building for a few hours Friday and Saturday at the end of the week till middle of October, and people can just pop in and the old-fashioned way of a piece of paper and a pen,
measuring up,
it works for us. So we're perfectly happy.
They can't knock down walls and things, right? There's going to be all sorts of things they can't do.
It's a registered building,
yeah.
Made of very good stone, and I think we would not be looking for anything which made a significant change to it.
Right.
There are areas of the building which are less important architecturally. They're more recent, and they're not very good in that sense. Flat roof, and sometimes getting rid of a flat roof can be an advantage to a building.
Yeah.
But clearly, like the one in front of us, some modification may be possible. But because of the architect, the way we work is we look at significance. We have no idea who built this, the building in front of us. It's very basic, and therefore we could modify it, and we did modify it to make it fit for purpose.
Yeah.
And in fact, it had already been modified previously by having a large garage door punched through the wall, so it wasn't in tight. Whereas the Baillie Scott building is different. That's the architecture.
And what sort of lease are you talking about on this? Is it be a set lease, 5, 10 years, whatever, or is it open to negotiation as well?
All of those things are open to negotiations, and we're not at that stage yet. And so I'm just conscious we did this outdoors. We forgot to check the times of the EasyJet flight out of Ronaldsway.
That's something you've got to put up with?
Yes,
traffic.
We do. But I think there are lots of options, whether it's a private building, whether it's a public building. I don't think anyone would want to open it to the public 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We're also very keen to find out what people don't want. We've got quite a lot of cafes and restaurants in the town. We're conscious of what our neighbours are doing. So I think there are some things that will work better than others.